What we have did is we just had a doubt clarification session so that whatever doubts you had, I went ahead and I was just solving. So I did not wanted to start any class yesterday because you guys should face some continuity in topics. So that is the reason I did not start. So today we'll be starting these three topics as I told yesterday. One is methods. Okay. What I'll do is I will teach you what are methods, different types of methods that you can have, and after that followed by some two questions which is there in the e-box. I'll start explaining you and make you more comfortable with the question. Maybe those modules are not enabled to you; they'll be enabled today. Or if it is already enabled, you can start coding in those modules. Okay, and after that followed by you have called something called as a recursion. So I will go with recursion, and also some topic of strings. Okay, so as I told, strings is a very huge topic. Like you also need to go and look into methods which are present in the Java API. Okay, so I can't go and teach all the methods, but I'll teach you all the important methods which we generally use in EBOB. Okay, and for all the three topics, I will solve at least one problem and give you hint for the next two problems, something like that. I will plan my classes, okay, so that you will also not face difficulties, and even while explaining also, I will also not face any difficulties, okay. Now, in the last class, you understood you have a class, okay. Class is a primary entity of any Java program that you are writing, right? So in this class, there are members, right? So members of a class, you can say. What are the members of a class? Methods, variables, constructors, all these are members of a class, okay. So as of now, you can see there is one method already that is called main method, okay. Why main method? You already know, right? That the program starts execution from that point of time. What what else? What else you can write inside a class, right? Inside a class, you can write variables. Okay. Inside class also you can write variables. Inside methods also you can write variables. Okay. If you write inside class, they become class variables, or we also call it as instance variables. Okay. You can declare something like this: int A, int B. Okay. So these are also variables, but these are not local variables. Now, these are called as instance variables or class variables. Okay. You can declare any variable like int, float, char, double string, anything you can declare, or you can also declare um, something called as methods. Like I have main method here. Similar to main method, you can declare any number of methods. Okay. So you can declare, you can think of what type of method you want. Maybe you want public, private, protected, or default. You can choose any of this. And every method should have a return type. So that is the basic thing that you should remember. Okay. So for example, you want to return a string value, you should have string as the basic return type. Okay. String, and what is the name of the method. So you want to say concatenate. Concatenate is the method name. Okay. And to this method, you want to pass anything, any specific value or not. Okay. So that you can decide. As of now, like I am saying that it is having a return type. So in my concatenate, I have to take some argument. I have to take some argument and return some value. So that is the rules. So any method which is having a string as a or any other return type here mentioned, so you should return some value. Return some value. Maybe anything, as it is string, you can return anything, but you should return something to make it a valid one. So I've just declared one method, but this method is a string method. It returns string data as an output. And what is that parameters it is taking? It is not taking any arguments to it. Means nobody is passing any arguments. and this method is non-static method. You can observe I did not write any static keyword, so this method is called as non-static method. Okay.
Hmm.
So if you are interested in declaring a static method, you can go and declare a static method. If you are interested in non-static method, you can use a non-static method. So I'm using non-static method, and here I'm taking some argument from user, right? So whenever user wants to call this function, he has to pass some value, right? So he has to pass a name, right? Has to pass a name. So whenever he passes the name, what you will do, you will actually use the same name and you will concatenate your name. Maybe that is the task. Okay. Okay. You'll just add your name next to his name. That is what the task that you're doing. So what I did, I declared one method which is non-static because I did not write static keyword here. And this is default method because I did not write public, private, protected. I did not write anything. Means the default access specifier is default. Okay. Default. Now my task is I should call this method. Go on mute. Others. Okay. So here, what is the task that I have to do now? I have to call this method. So somebody has to call this method in order to do some task, right? So how to call this method? Now, as it is a non-static method, there is no static keyword written. So you should create object of this class. If you don't create the object of this class, the existence of this method is not at all there. Okay. So what I should do, I should create object of this demo6. Okay, so I will just come here and create demo6 d is equal to new demo6 of new demo6 of. The moment I create object, what happens? All the members of this demo6 class will be present in that object. So concatenate is a non-static method. So this method reference or method will be present in the heap memory, and you can access this method only using the reference variable d. Okay. If it is a static method, then you don't need object creation. You don't need object creation. Now what I can do, I can use d dot and I can call that method called as concatenate. Okay. And what is that you should pass? You should pass some name here. Some name you have to pass. That is the rule, right? So if I pass Suresh, so what should be the output or what should I expect? I am calling this concatenate method, which is here, and the name which I'm passing is Suresh, and I should return Girish plus Suresh or Suresh plus Girish. I should get Suresh at the first word, and after that, with a space, I should get Girish. That is my expectation. So, this method is returning a string value. This method is returning a string value. So you can catch that value by using a string value. Okay, it's your name, it's your wish. Okay, however you want, you can do it. So as of now, I'm catching it with say concatenated value. Concatenated value is equal to, so whatever this method is returning, I am storing it in concat value. And after that, what I'm doing, I'm printing it. Okay, I'm printing that value, concat value. I'm printing that value. Okay, so if you run this code, now what you will get, it will pass Suresh, and here it will go to concatenate function. It will concate and return Suresh and Girish. Okay, observe the output. You will get Suresh first and then Girish, right? So this is what is called as non-static method. If you have a non-static method, you have to create object of that class and then call this method. Okay, you should create object of that class and then call this method by using the reference variable d. Okay, so if there is, imagine the same scenario, and you mention this method, or you feel that this method should be static in nature. You feel like, okay, I want to make it as static. So if you make it as static, this method will not be in the heap memory. This will be in the constant or the static pool, we call it as, right, static memory. It will be in the separate memory. So how do you call this method? No, I don't want to create object of this demo6 and all, not required, because this is a static method. It will not be present in the object. Okay. Um, so what is the best way I can, even though if it is there, not there in the what the object, you can create object and then call this concatenate, still it works. But I don't want to do it. I'll just use this class name dot member name. I'll use class name dot member name, that is concatenate. So you can see here, right? There is a triangle and it says yes above that, means it's a static. Okay. So I'll just choose this, and here I can pass the value Suresh. So just one line is enough, Suresh. Okay. So you are passing Suresh here, but you don't know whether what output you get, right? So I did not print it. So I'll just choose to directly print whatever I get here directly on the screen. Okay. I wish to print directly on the screen whatever I get here. I wish to print it directly on the screen. Okay. So now observe, Suresh is printed and Girish is printed. Okay. So this is the difference, guys. So if it is a non-static method, you must create object. There is no other escape for you. You must create an object and then call that method. If it is a static method, if it's a static method, directly by class name dot member name, you can call that method. Okay. In maybe now whatever programs which I will be explaining or whichever is given for you, some of them will be static methods, some of them will be non-static method. If it is non-static method, what you should do, you should create an object of that particular class and then call the methods present inside. If it is a static, then go with class name dot member name. Got this? Simple. This much you understood, right? What is a method? What is the difference between static method and non-static method? If this is clear, then I'll go with the first problem, which is just given for us in the eBox platform. Okay. In eBox platform, they have clearly told main methods. Okay. If it is enabled for you, you can go and check. If it is not enabled, it's okay. You can see here, or you can note it down in your pen and paper. Okay. So later it should not be an issue. Okay, so here they have given some, like yesterday I was explaining with this problem, right? They have given you some challenge to solve. Okay, so what I will do, I will just choose the sample input and sample output for my reference. I'll go to my program and start to solve this problem. Okay, so let me just take out this, and this they are saying it as main. Let it be here. Okay, I'll just remove this. Okay. So in this question, what they are saying is, okay, so there is some number. The following inputs are given like this. Okay, inputs are like 4 and 17. They are giving, and what you should print, you should print whether this is which is the what is that factor? We call it as inverse modulo. Okay, exactly what we call this as modular inverse. Okay, we call it as modular inverse of a number. So you are passing two numbers, and using that, see here, this is a method. They are saying, hey, you should call this method. You should call this method, and you should do this operation, and you should do the logic. So what is the logic? All that I will tell you. So before that, we'll just copy this method alone. Copy this method alone. Go back to our program, and they are saying. So in this program, they have given two structure. One is main class and is in modulo inverse. Like this, they have already given. So what you should do, there should be a main class in which you will have main method written, and modulo inverse class in which you should write modulo inverse code and all you need to write. So let me go and create these two classes. So here I'll go and create in the same package. I will create new class. class name is main. In main, they are reading all the values, right? They are trying to read all the values. So I have this done. So here I just go and write scanner SC, or you can go with buffer reader. Okay, always if you feel like always why I'm going with um, scanner, you can go with buffer reader. Buffer reader PR is equal to new buffer reader, new buffer reader of new input reader system dot in. Okay, so this is done. Then I need, okay, so what I need to do, I need to read two values. So what are those two values? 4 and 17 I need to read. So I will just take those variables as int a, int a. So what is this a? It's nothing but dr dot read line, read line. I'll read it as a string, but I don't want the string value. I'll convert it into integer. So I'll do integer dot parseInt dot, integer dot parseInt dot. So now I'm converting that string value that I read into integer value. Okay, so done. A value is done. Now just add a throws declaration so that you don't find any number format or IO exception. So just copy. Now I want another variable b, right? So that is what is required. So variable b. So I have two variables a and b now. So I have a as well as b. Now what I should find out is I want to find out the modulo inverse of a number. So like there is a function that I have to call which is present in modulo inverse class. So they are saying create a class called as modulo inverse with the following method. So I will go and create this modulo inverse class here. In the same package, I will go and create modulo inverse, and I'll just finish. I have modulo inverse, and also they are saying this method you create. So I'm just creating that method here, right? I'm just creating that method here. So I say this is taking two values, and it is an integer. It has integer as the return type, so it should return something. So return some result. I'll just take it as result. Some result I need to return. And integer, I need to take two values, right? I will take a as one value, and I'll take b as another value. Okay, that's it. So this result I don't have. So what I will do, like before even declaring this, I will have integer variable, integer result is equal to, say I will take it as -1. So why I am taking it as -1, I'll explain you. So I'll come here, just see here. They are saying this method returns modulo inverse of n, or it will return -1. So this is what they are saying. So if the condition is not true, it will return -1. Means if you can't find modulo inverse of that particular number with that given n value, then you should return that as um, -1. Then you should return -1. So that is the logic. So what I just did, I just created a class called as modulo inverse, and I have a method called as find value. But I should write logic here, that is missing. But I have to call this method, right? If I don't call this method, it will not work. So I'll go to main. So can you see this is a static method or non-static method? It's a non-static method. So how do you access this non-static method? You have to create object of this class modulo inverse, because it's a non-static method. Okay, so what I will do, I'll go to main method and create object of modulo inverse class. So modulo inverse mod is equal to new modulo inverse of. Okay, I'll create object of that particular class. Now I have to call that method mod dot and you have that method called as find value. Can you see find value? I'll call find value. I'll pass A and B to that. Whatever I read, A value and B value I read, right? So this value I will pass it to pass it inside that method. Okay. So inside this method, I have to write some logic in order to solve this problem, right? So what is that logic I need to write? I should write inside this find value function. So this is common for all the programs that you will be doing from now. Okay, so please keep this in your mind. For any problem that you are solving, this will be the common approach that you will do. Okay, now tell me what you should do. What is this value A and B? Let us go and analyze and then solve this. Okay. So what is A? They're saying 4 is A and 17 is B. Okay. So how to solve this? Okay. So 4 into some value should be equal to the other value, and that we should be the modulo inverse of, means if you do some manipulation in that. Say in case you have M is 17, so if you divide 17, or if you multiply 17 with some number, and there should be one value remaining, means ideally you get something like 17. So what is the factors that you make in order to get the modulo inverse? Modulo inverse is nothing but you should have n plus 1 value. Say, for example, 17 is the m value. 17 into 3, if you do, you would get 16, sorry, 50, 51, and you should have plus 1 as the remainder. So whenever you divide this 52 by 17 also, you should get 1. So here, if you're having 4 into some number, I don't know what is this number. 4 into some number will give you one value, which is a modulo inverse of the digit that you are looking at, that is 17. So how do you find it out whether it's a modulo inverse or not? When you divide that number by 17, then you should get result as minus 1. Sorry, plus 1. So plus 1 is the remainder. If you get plus 1 as the remainder, it means that 4 is a modulo inverse of 7. So that is the confirmation. Now you have A and B, that's it, right? So A into some value you need to make in order to get that thing. A into some value is equal to the result, whatever you get result, right? That result divided by 17, if you do, you should get plus 1. Until that, you should do some activity or some looping, whatever you like, you need to perform. Okay. So for that, what I will do, I will go here and write some logic. Maybe you can use for loop, while loop, whatever loop that you like. So let me try with for loop. Okay. For int I is equal to 1, I less than, means I need to iterate for some duration. Now, do I know how many times I have to iterate? Is my question. Do I know how many times to iterate? I don't know, right? I don't know how many times I should iterate, because A value 4 into what value I will get that exact factor, I don't know, right? If this is the case, for loop is not a good option, right? Because you don't know until what you will iterate, until what you should perform this. You don't know, right? So if this is the case, or this is the situation, we try to avoid for loop and go for while loop. Okay, because we don't know the number of iteration, then there's no point of going for loop. Okay, so while what is the condition? While is the loop. So what is the condition? So how while loop works? If the condition is true, it will come into the loop and go back and check the condition again and again until this condition becomes false. So that is the rule, right? So now you take this value A and you just do multiply by, right? Uh, Maybe you can take a loop variable or any other variable that you can initialize. Say, for example, I will take a integer variable I as the value, and I'll assign 1 to it. Okay, so I will just try to do I, A into I, and I will just do mod, right? Mod by the b value. If this value, right, if the complete value which I wrote here, if this value is equal to 1, okay, if it is equal to 1, then this condition should this condition will be satisfied, or this condition is met. Until this condition, I have to do some activity. Okay, until this condition, I have to do some activity. And what is that activity I need to perform? What is that I have to perform? I have to find out that number, right? I have to find out that specific number which is causing this. So that I value, whatever I get out of this, I will store it in result. Result is equal to I. So whenever I get that, I will store that I value in result, and I will return that result. So returning result is not important. When I return this result, I have to use that here. Use that here. So what I can do, I can print system.out.println. So in the output, what they are printing? They are printing some value. Some value they are printing. Okay. So I go here and print that I will print this entire result. I'll print this entire result. That's it. Okay. Let's print that. Some keys which are pressed automatically. Up. That's it. So now, if I run, it will definitely ask for 2 inputs, right? Now what I'll do, I'll try to give the same inputs that they were giving, 4 and 17. Okay. So 4 and 17. And this main method, I'll give 4. I'll give 17. It is printing -1. So I don't know what is the reason why it is printing -1. Maybe my logic is going wrong somewhere. So how do I find out my logic is going wrong somewhere? So I can debug. Okay, I can debug. There is an option to debug. So I'll just put a debug point here, and I'll go inside this function. I'll put one debug point here also. Here also I'll put one debug point, and because I don't know where the mistake is. So now I'll go and debug and see step by step where it is going wrong. So I am able to read the input. So I am checking that. Yeah. So first input is 4 and other input is 17. So I am giving both the values. It is reading properly, right? Now it is calling this mod dot find value of. So this method it is calling. So you can see this method is called. So A value is 4 and B value is 17. Now you are supposed to perform some logic. Maybe that logic is going wrong. So what wrong that I did here? Can somebody
I plus
tell me?
plus. I plus plus.
Yeah, so there should be some increment or decrement to be done, right? Every time. Okay, so that is one thing wrong I have done. Inside the for loop, I have to just give I plus plus, because it is going for an infinite loop, because it is maybe, or it is not checking this. It is checking only for the first time, and this looping is not happening. So it is just printing that -1 and coming out. Okay, this condition is met also. It is not doing that looping condition. So A is now 4 and into 1, 4 by 17, whether it is equal to that value. Maybe this condition what I'm checking here is also not right, because it is checking for the first time. If the condition is wrong, it is coming out. It is just coming out. Okay, it is coming out and it is printing the value. So this is not the right way, right? So what should be the right way here? What should I change here? I plus plus is fine. So here I should do some changes. What is the change I need to bring in? Think about this. Now also I'm getting -1 only. Okay, it is going and checking this value. If it is equal to 1 or not, I am just checking it. Anybody wants to give a try?
Sir, should it be division, not a modulo?
Because I want the remainder, right? I don't want the quotient of it. If I want the quotient, then I go for
Sir,
divider, right?
give the while condition as always true and write the while condition in using if statement in the while loop.
Yeah, that is correct. Okay, so how do I write that? Okay, so here, if I write a if condition, okay, if I write a if condition inside while, will that be optimal or will that be a right solution? Like, do you write like that whenever you are writing program? Inside for, will you, or inside while, will you go and write if condition? Is it optimal solution? Hello, sorry, you're able to hear me? Okay, I will write. I will try that. Okay, here I will write if condition. Okay, so if um, so if a into I mod b equal to 1. Okay, I'm checking the if condition. Will what is that change that I need to bring? Means I want you to tell this logic. That's it. Nothing else. Think of it. Like, take your pen and paper and think of it. I think few of you have solved it. I don't know, but just think about it and tell me. If you have solved well and good, think about and think that and tell me that logic. Only that logic I am asking. Okay. Maybe some some of you might have not known. I think the only logic that is missing here is maybe the looping construct should iterate for, means you can use for loop, but even there also I don't know what is the logic, right? Means I don't know till what I should loop. So here they are taking some looping construct as m, means they are thinking, okay, I should at least iterate for m number of times. Then they are checking this if condition. So this is the same if condition we were also checking, right? We are having the value x, okay, into I. Then we are doing mod of m. So if that value is equal to 1, then we are storing that I value and then breaking it. Okay. So this condition is also right, but what else we can implement in while loop? You just think about it and tell me here. So the logic that we are thinking is correct, but how do we put it in while loop is what we need to just understand now. Okay, maybe we can give a generic statement here saying while I less than b. So this condition will always be true and it comes inside every time and checks this if condition. If a mod I percentage p is equal to 1, If this is the condition, so here you just break it. If you find that value is equal to 1, I'm just breaking it. Otherwise, I will just do I plus plus. So now what I will just do, I'll just go and check the iterations part. There's a class definition should. Okay. One bracket here. This is while loop is ending here. If loop is ending here. So I'll just go and debug it, and we will see if that value comes here. So here I just give 4 and 17 as the values, and proceed here. So it will call this method, and now you can check. Why did it not call that? Should call that method, right? Did I remove the breakpoint? Yeah, I think I removed the breakpoint. So here, just give 4 and 17 as the input values. So I'll be calling this function, and here you can see first it is checking this I value, whether it is less than B, and it is coming inside because it is not less than. So here it is checking this condition. This condition is not true. So it is incrementing the value until when I becomes 13, right? It keeps incrementing and checking this condition. Once the I value becomes 13, right? It matches that condition. Mod of that will be, I can see now it was 12 and now it is 13. So now A is 4, I is 13. So this will give 52. Mod B, that is 17. If you do it, will be equal to 1. So it will come inside this. It will set that value as result and break the loop. Okay. So and it comes out and prints that as the result. Hope this you understood. Okay, this is the logic that you can uh, note down or try when you're trying it next time. Okay. So similarly, you have other problems which are given in eBox. Okay. So you can see simplified fractions. So what is simplified fractions? So here they are saying it is a void method. See, observe here it is saying a void method. So what is void method? This method does not return anything. That is the meaning. Okay. So here it was int, right? Previously it was int here. It was int here. So but here if you see it is a void method. It's a void method. What does it mean by void? It doesn't return anything. So you have to print the result in the same method print value. You just have to print the result in the same value, the same method that you are using. Okay. So here, for example, in main method, you're reading all the inputs and you're calling this print value method. So you observe that they are calling class name dot member name, correct? No, they are using class name dot member name, means this method will be a static method. Can you see static void print value? Okay. So in the question also they might have mentioned create a class named called as fraction and do this method or do this activity they have told, but they have not told it is a what to say static method or anything, but in the code only they have given like this. In the code they have given some template, right? In the template they have given this as static method. If it is static, you don't want to create an object, you just have to call a method called as print value with numerator and denominator value. Okay, you should, what's your task now? You should go here, read numerator, read denominator, and then pass it into print value. Inside print value you're supposed to perform some logic. Some logic you need to perform. What is that logic? Just division, right? Plain division you need to perform. Because here what they're trying to say in this problem is, okay, so if you have 28 and 7, so you need to print the result of it. What is the quotient of it? So if you just divide this, 7 fours are 28. So you'll get 4 as the output. But if you say 5 and 13, you can't say 5 twos are 13, right? You cannot say that 5 twos are 10, right? But other three values are remaining. So that should be represented in a fractional part. That should be represented in a fractional part. There are two if conditions that you should write. One is just division part of it. If like if it is directly divisible by you can do like this 28 mod 7. If you do, you get some result, right? That result, the remainder, if it is equal to 0, you directly print the value. That is the first condition. What is the second condition? If you divide this number by 5, you will get some fractional part. You will get some result, what is it? A remainder which is greater than 0. If you get like that, you should represent it in this way. In this way, you should represent it. So that logic you should think and you should write that logic. How to print this? See what is actually happening here. You whenever you do 13 division by 5, 13, and you have this 5, right? So if you are doing like that normal division, how we do, you get the remainder as 3, and the dividend is 5, and divisor is 2, right? So you should represent that in a fractional part. You know this, right? 2 is the dividend, 3 is the remainder, by divisor is 5. So that is how you represent the fractional part. Okay. So this is one thing that you should write the code. I think you understood, right? All these problems are based on that only. Like whatever I am explaining, same fashion you need to follow. Okay. Same fashion you need to follow for all this. Okay. So today what you will do is, you understood what are methods. Go back to the lab, sit and solve these methods. Okay. Or sit and solve the problems. In case you're, yeah, sorry, yeah. Can you be louder? I'm not able to hear you. Hello. Can you be little louder? Somebody is talking. Okay. Hello. Okay. If nobody is talking, I think it's by mistake. Okay. So now, so that's about methods. Okay. So methods are very simple, based on the return type and based on what value that you are having. We are doing some logic in the methods. Okay. So this is very evident and clear. So next we are hitting is
Excuse me, sir.
recurrent. Yeah.
Sir, kindly can you please wait for 10 minutes? Sir, we are having issues.
Pardon.
Can you please
Little
wait for
loud.
10 minutes? We are having internet issues now.
Oh, is it?
We
Okay.
lost the
Okay.
internet here. Kindly please wait for 10 minutes.
Sure, sure. I'll wait for 10 minutes. No problem. Yeah. I'll wait for 10 minutes.
Thank you, sir.
పోతాను ప్రిపేర్ చెప్తారని తిరగొట్టు
So you can continue.
Okay, the internet is fine now, right? Stable. Thanks for confirming. I'll just share my screen. Hope my screen is visible for all. Okay, so the next topic that we are dealing with is recursion. I think recursion is one such topic that everybody is already known with, right? Like you already have worked on or already have that hands-on with recursion, but still I will go with the general explanation of it, and then tell you how it is impacting in Java and what is the use of recursion in Java. Okay. So this is a definite interview question that they will ask you in interview. Okay, how recursion works in Java? Why is recursion better option when compared to loops? Okay, so that is something that they will definitely ask you in the interview. So this you can expect. Let me just make a new class. Just create a new project itself. Not new project, maybe new package. I'll create new package. New package. So here new folder I'm creating. Sorry. New package. Form.ebox. So inside this, I will create a new class called as main. Okay. So try to understand recursion. What is recursion? So a method calling itself, we call it as recursion, right? So like popular examples that you might have heard or you might have come across as your Fibonacci number or factorial of a number. These kind of problems you might have already come across. but like I'll just try to give some normal example so that you will try to understand what exactly recursion and how it works and all that. Okay, so let me just take a main method. So I have a main method in this, and here I will randomly call a method. Okay, I don't know what method I will call. Okay, print random data something. I'm just calling one method, just like this. I'm calling one method. Okay, so this doesn't have a meaning, right? So when I say this method itself is not there anywhere. You have not written this method anywhere. Okay, so what I will do, I will just copy this and create it somewhere in the program. I'll just create somewhere in the program, maybe above main method, below main method, wherever you like to do, you just create it. Okay, so this method doesn't take any argument, but it will print some data, system.out.println. So some random data it prints some random data. Now you see here, you cannot directly call some method like this, right? It says method print random data is undefined for the type main. Means you're trying to call something in main, but this is undefined. Means your program doesn't know where this method exists. Okay, but if it is a static method, and it doesn't return any value. If that is the situation, like maybe you say it as void, doesn't return any value. Now what is happening? Now you are calling some method where this method is present. It is present in your same class, but it is static in nature. So directly you can call this method. Right? Directly you can call this in a static in your main method. Directly you call this method. Okay, because it's in the same class. Okay, if you run it now, as of now, what you'll get, you'll only get this random data to be printed. Okay, but my condition is to achieve my my motto is to achieve recursion. So what I will do, I'll just go and call the same method, print random data in the same method itself. So this is called recursion, right? A method which is called inside the same method. So this is called as recursion. So this is a very bad practice that you should never do. Okay, if you do this, what happens? If you do this, what happens? If you do this, it goes infinite loop, right? It goes to infinite loop. Why it goes to infinite loop? Because it doesn't know how many times it should call. Because I am calling print random data. Print random data is called. It is printing random data. After that, again print random data is called again. So this will be unlimited loop that it performs, right? Unlimited times it will perform. So for any recursion to happen, one thing is very important, which is called as base condition. Okay, what is that base condition? What I'm trying to say? So while calling this print method, right? Or you can call this print method, but based on some factor or some data you should call, right? Based on some condition you should call this a recursive method. Okay, so here I should have some conditioning. I should have some base condition. We call it as base condition. We should have some condition here. If you don't do that, it will go for unlimited times of iterations, which is not a good practice, which is not at all a good practice. Okay, so it goes for so okay, now okay, fine, now you are doing it for some amount of time. So what is that? We don't know. Maybe you can go and declare a variable, say static int a, or count. You can say count COU count or C, whatever you like. Okay, so you can make it as 0 and keep it with you. And whenever the count, here you can mention that count is less than 5, you perform this. Until the count is less than 5, you perform this activity. Okay, perform this activity, and whenever I call this method, it comes inside and prints random data and goes and check the count. What is the count? So initially count value is 0. It is less than 5. It prints this and comes out, right? So here maybe I will mention it like I am decrement or incrementing this count. Okay, you can just do count plus plus. You will increment the count. Now if you run this, if you save it and run this, now you have some errors. Okay, so what is that error? See, it is printing random data so many times. At one point of time, still it is going to the infinite loop. So it is giving one exception called as, this exception is very important. That's why I'm showing you this stack overflow exception. Okay, in exam or in an interview, like definite question, can you explain me what is stack overflow? Okay, what is stack overflow? Like I was explaining you method winding and unwinding, right? So there you should understand what is the stack winding and stack unwinding and how to solve this issue or how to address this issue. So this is very important. As a programmer, you should know. Okay, so what is happening here? Let us try to debug. So I will put a debug point inside this method. Okay, so now, and I will run this. I will debug it. Okay, so observe. I will do it again. I will stop all the things. I will do it again. Now what is happening? Can you see here? Method, main method is called. Main method in line number 15 is called. So line number 15, main method is called first. Okay. And there you have a method called as print random data. So you are calling this print random data and it is coming here. Right. And after that, if observe here, random data is printed. Then again, you are calling print random data. What happens in the stack is one more method will be added to the stack. Can you see one more method is added to the stack? Later, again, you are doing the same activity. Here you are checking count is less. So count, what is the count value? 0. You are checking count is less than 5. Yes, it is less than 5. Again, you are calling print data. So method only you are calling. Again, one more stack is added. Can you see line number 6? Again, if you are doing the same activity, see the stack is winding. Stack is increasing. Until when it will increase? Until the stack memory is full. Until the stack memory will become full, it keeps on adding that method into this stack. Okay, it will keep adding. It doesn't know, right? What you're trying to do, it doesn't know. It keeps adding until you do some condition. Okay, so what is happening is it is not even coming to this count plus plus. That is the issue, right? So what you can do, you can place that whenever it comes inside at the beginning only, you try to place this. Okay, now try to execute and see what happens. Now it prints only 5 elements or the 5 iterations. Why? My base condition here is checking that, hey, before you call this method, go and check the count. If the count is less than 5, then uh, then only print this. Otherwise, don't print this. Okay. So this is something called as a recursion. Okay. So this is the same program that they were trying to implement in your factorial of a number or any of such programs. Okay, so let me show you that factorial of a number in stack also, so that you will understand what I'm trying to tell you. Okay, so I'm just deleting all this data. I just deleted all this data. You have a main method, and here you are supposed to do some activity. Okay, so what you should do, you should find out 5 factorial. Okay, 5 factorial is still simple. What is 5 factorial? You know, 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. It is still fine. Means how much time does it take for you to calculate? It is not like less than 15 seconds or 20 seconds. You can tell what is the output, what is the answer. But imagine if they are saying what is the factorial of say 5,000. Okay, it is impossible to tell you tell that by manual calculations. Even for like, even if you are doing 5,000 times, if you are hitting the calculator also, it is very time consuming task, right? So to avoid this kind of burden, you can go with loops. Even loops will do the same help for you. You can form a loop of 5,000 times and it do this activity again and again. That is also valid. But for some use cases, it is better to go with recursion because it will not involve much of coding. Not like different conditions you have to check and different lines of code you need to do if you're going for any looping statements. To avoid that, more conditioning that you want to write, to avoid that, to have a less lines of code, then we go for recursion. But recursion is not a good practice, not a good programming practice, but it's one of the technique that you can use in your Java program. Okay, so I just save this. Now I'll try to find out. There's some error. Oh, I don't know what is this error. I'll just remove this. I'll try to perform this factorial of a number code. Okay. So here what is that? I like basically take a factorial of some number, like a factorial. Factorial is a method that I'm having. Okay. Factorial. Sorry. Let's see. Okay. Factorial of. Maybe you can give me some number, random number like 15. Okay. I have to find out factorial of 15. That is my task. Okay. So now I don't have a method called as factorial return. I don't have a method, right? So what I will do, I'll just go and ask this person Java only to create this. So create a method called as factorial. Okay. It created a method for me, static method for me as factorial. Done. Now what I have to perform here is I have to check. First thing in recursion is check what is the base condition. So what is the base condition that I need to check? Anyone? What is the base condition that I need to check here? Until when I have to perform this factorial? 15 into 14 into 13 into until when? Until you reach 1. Until you reach 1, you need to perform this activity. That is the base condition, correct? No? So here you can just go and write if your I value, if your I value is equal to n, or you can say n, or you already have 15, so you can just take it as 15. Sorry, I value is equal to 1 means the whatever 15 you are passing until it becomes 1. Until it becomes 1, you have to perform the this one recursion. Okay. So if it is 1, if I somebody is passing I as 1 only, factorial of 1. What is factorial of 1? You should give them or you should print 1 only, right? So that is something you should do. So I will just do system.out.println. So here I have taken it as void. So I am trying to print the values here itself. So I will print that value I itself. If it is 1, then I will print that is the factorial. Factorial of that 1 is 1 only. Okay. And what is the other condition? Like if it is not 1, if somebody is not passing 1, I'll just go for else condition. So I will check, or I will do system.out.println. Just print what I will print. I will print factorial of. I'll call this inside the factorial method. I am calling again factorial. Same method I am calling. This is called recursion. Factorial of, and here I should have some condition in which this recursion happens. Some condition in which this recursion happens. So that is nothing but I minus 1. Okay. So first time I will pass 15 into this factorial method. Here I am passing 15 into this factorial method. Now this condition is not true. It will come to else. And here I am checking factorial of I minus 1. So what I am trying to call? I am trying to call one value less than what you called before. One value less than what you called before. But that is not enough. So here what you need to do is you need to again do I into factorial of I minus 1. Okay. So this should be the logic. There is some error. Let us see what is that. Undefined type. Okay, in the print method I'm doing. Maybe that is the reason. What I will do, I will remove that. And here I will store this value in some integer value int and sub is equal to factorial of what is the issue? Okay, so as I'm doing void, it is not giving that flexibility for me to have. Okay, so what I will do is I will just somebody is calling this value, so I would try to return it instead of making it void. I will make it as int so that I will return this value whatever I'm generating to that method itself, and I will print the output there itself. Okay. So here also instead of returning I will just return this value I. Okay, instead of printing, I'll just return the value I. And what is the error now? Okay, return RETUR. So I'm returning these type of values. So like just see, instead I did not write any for loop. I didn't do anything. Okay. So what I'm trying to do, somebody called a factorial. So I need to just go and print the value there. So factorial of 15. So I will print it in the main. That's it. One line of code. You can read the value here 15 from the user and you can put it here. So what I'm doing is 15 I am passing here. So I'm checking that whether the I value which is passed is equal to 1 because 1 factorial is always 1. So I will just return that I itself. Otherwise, I am returning factorial of I minus 1, n into n minus 1. You like this was the condition. So here I have value as I. So I into I minus 1. That's it. So how this works internally, I'll just tell you. I'm just removing all this and observe. I'll just put the debug point. I have already put the debug point in the factorial. Now observe. Okay, so here, first main method was called. Main method was called in line number 6. Here I'm calling factorial method, line number 10, right? Factorial method is called. Okay. Now what happens is it will check the condition. Y value is 15, right? It is not equal to 1. So this condition will be failed. It will come to else condition. And here it will check. Again, it will call factorial method. Means one more block will be added. One more stack will be added. So observe. Yeah, one more stack is added. And now it is calling fact of, this is 15 was there before. Now I am calling 14. Factorial of 14 I am calling. Okay, it will go to same factorial function. Now I value it be 14. It will check whether it is 1. No, it is not 1. Next time it will call 13, right? 13, 12, 10. So until the base condition is matched, you can have that many iterations of that looping called. Okay. At the last loop condition, okay, you can go and inspect the values and all here. So I value is 3, not even 3, not even 2. When it becomes to 1, right? So this will return 1, correct? This value will, this function will return 1. So that 1 will be passed. So this will be returned to this factorial method. Means who called this factorial? This method called. This method called this method, right? It will go back to this method. Okay, there you had I value already. I value was 2. 2 into 1. So that will be calculated 2. Again, that 2 will be passed to this method. So here, what was the I value? It was 3. 3 into 2, 5. Sorry, 3 into 2, 6, right? And then who called this? The below this, right? That is 4. Similarly, all these multiplications will happen and will give you the right value. So you can see I value is now 2, right? Now it is coming out. So you can see it is unwinded. Now you can see I value is 3. Now it is, you can see this will be removed. It is removed, right? The stack is removed. Now you can see I value is 4. Factorial is 6. It is calculating, right? 1 into 1, 1 into 2, 1 into like that. So what it is coming backwards. Now this method will be removed. You can observe. Yeah. So now I is the 5 value and factorial value is 25. That is 1 into 2 into 3 into 4, right? Or 4 into 5 also. So like that, it keeps on calculating. See 120, then 720, then 5040, then 40320, something like that. It gets calculating. What is the factorial value of 15 will be this. You can go and check it out. This will be the factorial value of 15. That is the last method. After executing this will go to main method. This will go to main method. See, it is going to main method. Here, what is the value? This is the value. This is the value which gets printed. This is the output that you get. You can go and check out. This is the factorial of 50. In case you don't want that, you want to say 5 factorial, how to calculate 5 factorial, whether it is correct or not, you want to check it out. So stop this and run this. 120 is the 5 factorial. Okay. So it's as simple as that. So what is recursion? Recursion is nothing but a function calling itself. So the functions keep on binding, or stack winding will happen until what condition? Until the condition is met. Once the condition is met, stack unwinding happens. One by one methods will be removed. The data what is returning is again backtracked or back calculated, and you get the output. Is it clear? So if you see the e-box problems that you are having are all making use of the same principle to solve. Okay. So using recursion, you are supposed to solve these problems. Very simple problems you can think of, but you can go and try to attempt them and solve them. Recursion. I'll give one example maybe so that you can understand and go forward. Okay, see here, there is something called as art computation where they are supposed to print numbers. This is a recursive method that should display enrollment numbers from 1 to n without using loop. Without using loop, you are supposed to do. For this, if you use for loop, your ebox will give error. Okay, you should not use for loop or while loop. So you're supposed to print, if I give 4 as the input, it should print 1, 2, 3, 4. In a recursive way, you should go and print this. Okay. How will you print this value in recursive way? Anybody, can you help me? How can you, like if I give 4 as the value, it should print 1, 2, 3, 4. If I give 1 as the value, it should only print 1. If I give 10 as the value, it should print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. How can I write condition for this? Anybody? Anybody wants to help me to write the logic for this? We'll write it here only. We'll write it here only. What is the logic? So instead of calling factorial, I will call print number. Print numbers. Okay, print numbers. The same method I will use here. Okay. So somebody is calling. Okay, if I'm calling 5, I should have to print 1 to 5. All the values from 1 to 5 I have to print. Now, how can I print? It is the question. Somebody wants to try this. I should have written statement. Okay, that is. You know, can you tell me, like I am passing this 5. Okay, what should be the base condition? You know recursion now, right? What should be the base condition? What should be the base condition? Hello? Oh, sorry, is my voice audible for all of you? What is the base condition here? Hello? Somebody, if it is wrong, I don't mind. Please give a try. Okay, just give a try. How does it print, or how does it look like? Okay, so like you can give it, we can do trial and error. Okay, if you are not able to understand, we can do trial and error. So what you are supposed to print now, you are supposed to print values from 1 to 5. You are supposed to print. So what is the base condition? Until what you should print? or until when you should print? If what is the base condition, guys? Come on. Use okay.
I
Somebody.
equal to 5.
Okay. I equal to 5 just by knowing. Okay, so you are passing this value. So by knowing this, you are saying, right?
N.
Okay, I equal to 5. Okay. Else what I should do? I'm doing if else. That's it as of now. Somebody says it should traverse till 1. We need to decrement the value. Yeah, you are right. You are absolutely right. But yeah, how do you achieve that using recursion, right? You have to call this method again and again. You are supposed to call this method again and again. How will you do that? So here, okay, like okay, if you're taking I is equal to 1, if I is equal to 1, somebody is printing, somebody is throwing 1 at this point, somebody is throwing 1 at this point. So what should happen? It should print something, right? It should do something and it should return something, right? So for that case, I will return 1. If somebody is throwing 1 at me, uh, I should return 1 to them, right? Return 1 to them. So this is done. The first condition is done. Okay, definitely nobody will pass 1 to me. They will pass some other values like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, something like that they will pass. So I have to handle that in else condition. In else, what I will generally do, I will call this print numbers method only. Again, I will call this print numbers method only. But here, what I will pass, I will not just pass I will pass I minus 1. I minus 1. So what happens if I pass I minus 1? Every time so it comes in and it will check whether it is equal to 1. If it is not, it will come here. Previously 5 was there. At least I have to print 5 ones, right? I have to also print that 5 ones and then call this 4, then call 3, then call 2, then call 1. I don't know. I have to do that iterations, right? If I print this, see, now it is only printing 1 for me, because in the first iteration it is coming here and it is checking some values, what is the value, and it is just returning that data. Now I'm just printing 1, but I should also print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, somebody is tried it. Okay, wide increment n. Okay, wide increment is the okay. So you're taking n as the value. Okay, so here, okay, if it okay, return n, return increment of n minus 1, and you're printing that n. Okay, I'll also print that n or print that value I. So now there are some means you should not return it here. First you have to print it and then return. So that's why it was not reachable. So now it makes sense for some reason, because you're printing some values and then like then going with the other one. But it should be the other way, right? Say now we are getting 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You are able to get those values, but it is in a decrement order 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But if you see the requirement, it is like 1, 2, 3, 4. You are supposed to print 1, 2, 3, 4. And then how do you address this? How do you address this? It's not like you're printing 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're supposed to print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So how do you get this done? You can see the output. Somebody can relate. So you are able to get this done. Means the recursion is working and everything is working, but you are able to print 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 if I'm printing before this. Okay. Then what should I do to solve and get it printed like how we are expecting? How do I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to be printed? Any changes in the code? Okay, somebody has answered. Okay, so return if n is equal to 1, then print n. N is equal. Okay, so here I'll just try to blindly put your logic. So here I'll just go and write system.out.println and print this value I. That's it. Okay, then I will just return. Okay. Return what? It's asking return what. So I'll just return. Okay, then so I just return. I'll call print. This is what you are printing it here. A print value as I minus 1 minus 1. Print okay. Let me run this system.out.println. I'll just call that. Let me run this. Yeah. So now you're able to get this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 printed like as per the expectation. And here what we are trying to do, we are not returning the value and we are just printing it here itself. Okay. So what is the requirement? We are able to match it here, right? So we have I is equal to 1. Then we have this I printed. Then so like basically whenever you call this method, so it's a recursive method which calls itself. So initially the I value would be 5. So it checks this condition. It is not true. Then it calls this again with a decremented value. Okay, so it goes again and again and again until it reaches the 1. So when it is 1, then it prints 1 and comes out. Then it goes to the second value. So you can just see, I'll just give you the debug point and see how it is working. So initially, so this is already called, I don't want to keep it here. Debug point should be outside this. Rerun it. Yeah. So this is the first condition. Our main method is called, and then you have if condition, like you are calling this print numbers method. And see, now I'm calling print of I is 5 minus 1. Now it will be 4. So you are calling this with 4 again recursively. So this is having with 4. Now this is with 3. Then this is with 2. This is with 1. So you can see I value will be 2 here. Okay, 1 here. So 1 minus 1, like you are calling I is equal to 1. You are asking this condition becomes true. So it will print this value 1. You can see the output appears now. 1 is printed. Next, right? It is coming out, and it is coming out of the first method stack, right? It is coming out of the first method stack, and it is printing the I value as 2. Then it is coming from the second stack. Now it is having 2 in this. So sorry, 3 in this. So now this stack will be removed. Say line number 17. This stack will be removed, and 3 will be printed. You can see 3. Now I am printing, so 3 will be printed. Now this will be removed, and you will have 4 and then 5. Okay. So the stack winding and unwinding is some logic that you should remember. Okay. So this is about recursions. Okay. You can go try solving problems in recursion. It's a very simple and easy to solve. Okay. Then going back, you have something called as strings. Okay. Think last class I've explained you what is a string, right? So string is nothing but a class in Java. Okay. So like there are different ways to declare string. I will just go back here and tell you that same logic that I've told you before. Okay. There are some things new also which are there on strings, which I'll be teaching now. So strings are like, string is a class, right? As I was saying, string is a class. Okay. So if you see what a string, where it is present in a package called as lang package. Okay. String A. So what is this string? It is present in java.lang.string. Okay. So how to declare it and initialize it? There are two ways of doing it. You can directly use a direct value like this. You can just give a literal like this. So what it actually does, it actually does this way. This is the actual way. String A1 is equal to new string A1, new string of A1. So this is how we create object for any other class, right? In Java, we create using it, like generally this is how we create for other classes in Java. So both these lines means the same. Okay. So if I just write string A is equal to Girish and string A1 is equal to new string 1 of Girish, both the lines are same. Both the lines are same. But this is a variable which is having Girish. This is A1 variable which is having Girish. As I was saying, string follows something called a string constant pool. String constant pool. Okay. So what is this string constant pool? Any string you create will be created in a separate block of memory. And next time when you create the same string, it will go and check the pool, string constant pool, if this is already present. If this is already present, so this A1 will also point to the same object. So two different objects will never be created. Both of them will refer to the same object. So how to check that whether both of them are pointing to the same object? So I will print hash code. That is unique identification of every object. So I can print dot hash code. Okay, hash code, and I can also print A1 dot hash code. Okay, A1 dot hash code. So both the hash codes, if it is same, both the hash codes are same, then we call this this string is following string constant pool. Okay, you can see both the values are same. That what it means? It means this a1 is also pointing to one object. A also is pointing to the same object. So if I create one more object like this, that will also now point to the same address. That will also now point to the same address. Same address. We can print a3. No new object will be created. It will point to the same memory. Say 1 2. Okay, 1 2 is the object. Now if I print this, see all three addresses are same. All three addresses are same. Means once a string is created, again the string object will not be created. Okay, so in interview they'll ask this question. Okay, what is string constant pool and how it behaves? Okay, you can say string is immutable in nature. Once the string is created, next time when you are creating the same string, the duplicate of that object will not be formed, and that will be like any new object which is forming will be verified with string constant pool. If that object is already there, it will point to the same object. Okay, so there are some advantages, like a lot of memory is saved because numerous objects are not created. It is pointing to already available object. Okay, and like if I want to compare a1 and a2, okay, if both are same or not. Say for example a1 and a2, there are two objects here, you think, and you want to compare a1 and a2 if they are same or not. Okay, if they are same or not, then how do you do it? Like before, like you had this if condition. If a1 equal to a2, right? Equal to a2. So this kind of thing you should not do when it comes to strings. Okay, so in strings you should never use a1 equal to a2. Okay, you should always use methods, string methods called as, or there is a by default object class method called as dot equals method. Okay, dot equals. So a1 dot equals a2. So what happens if I do equal to? It will not compare the contents present in the a1 and a2. It will only print the it will only compare the objects. Okay, so yes. So imagine now I'm printing a1 dot equals a2. Both are having same value. Now if you are saying if a1 dot equals a2, it is printing yes. It is true. Okay, but if we are doing the same thing whenever using this condition a1 equal to a2, if you are checking with this condition, there are possibilities that a1 is not equal to a2 because a1 is some object, a2 is some object. Both of those addresses may not be same. In this case it is same, in this case it is same, but in some cases it will not be same. It will not be same. Here it will print yes. Here it might print yes, or it see now it is not printing that yes. A1 and A2 you are trying to print, and it is not printing yes because A1 and A2 is two different objects altogether, and the references whatever you are doing, you are not pointing to Girish and Girish, not to the data. You are making to the object. So you should never make that mistake. You should always use dot equals method. Dot A1 dot equals. Okay, equals method. So equals method is present in object class. Okay, equals method is present in object class, but there is one more method called as equal ignore case, which is present in string class only. Equals ignore case. What is equals ignore case? Means it will ignore the case. It is not case sensitive. That is the meaning. As of now, it is case sensitive, but if you make equal ignore case, say one value is capital G here, and here it is small g. So it will not consider this capital G or small g. It will ignore the case and compare the content, and it will print it is true or false. So obviously it is true. Okay. So that is the difference when it comes to normal other classes and strings. So whenever you are comparing strings, right, you can use dot equals or dot equal ignore case in order to compare the contents of that particular object. Okay, so very important. Problems in strings are very straightforward and very simple, but At the beginning, you will face very difficult because you don't know the methods of strings, right? How to solve these problems, you will get confused. But what you need to do is you need to go and check all the methods which are present in um, this string class. Okay, if you understand string class methods, then you will be able to do it more easily and more quickly. Okay, so I will give a pause for this because I want you to go and explore what are the methods present in string class. Okay, and get back. Okay, there is something called as contains method, dot equals method, sorry, code point at. You have something called as string concatenate. Like lot of methods are there in string. Okay, so just go and type java.lang.string, right? Just type java.lang.string. Okay, dot string. You will get that entire object representation by Oracle. Oracle will give you the entire method sets. All the methods will be given to you. Like I was saying, that a huge set of methods. It is impossible to teach each one of this. You go and explore them. What is trim method, how it works? What is two uppercase, two lowercase? I think I told you that day, right? What is substring? How to split it? How to replace? Right? So these are the methods which strings bring in. Okay, go and explore this. Go and explore how it is done and why it is done. So try to solve the problems which are given in the platform. Okay, so all of them are based on that. So you should also use your own logic to get it done. Okay, very simple problems and very easy problems. So I want you to go and try it. In case you are not able to try it, you come back and tell me tomorrow. Maybe I will solve two, three problems so that you can continue solving your problems from there. Okay. And one more small topic that is there and which is not addressed was, which maybe I have already told you, or it is not. It is very simple, not too complex. This command line arguments. Okay. So what are command line arguments? Like whenever you are dealing with your program, you are passing this string array args, right? String array args. So this is nothing but command line argument. Okay. So like when in the first class when I was explaining, I was passing that value here, string args into this, right? Like I was doing um, Java C for compiling and Java for executing, right? So that time I have told you what is this command line arguments, but I will tell you again. Very simple and very easy. Okay, so here I will just print system.out.println. What is this args? Args is nothing but a string array. Like you are having integer array, right? Like that, it is string array. You can give your own name. Say you can say Don. Okay, so what is this? What is this Don? Don is a command line argument. Okay, so here I can say Don of 0. Okay, means the first element in the Don array I am printing here. But as of now, I'm not passing any value. You can go to this run configuration in Eclipse. I'm saying in other IDEs, I will tell you how to do it. Here you have run configuration. Here for every program while you are running, you can pass arguments. So these arguments are like Mahesh. Mahesh is the Don I'm saying. Because the first argument I'm passing is Mahesh. So if I run this, right? If I run this, now I get Mahesh as the output. Mahesh as the output because I'm running the program. Nowhere I have Mahesh here in the code, but it is coming from runtime argument. Okay, runtime argument. So you can go and change the configuration. You can make it your own configuration, whatever you like. You need, say, Tarun, Tarun to be done. Okay, so now you can apply that and run. So now you get Tarun as the output. Okay, so command line arguments are passed at runtime. That's it. That is the meaning. Okay, say in your ebox also you have problems related to that. They are very simple, so that's why I just wanted to tell you this. Okay, so here they are saying input is ABC. They are giving ABC as the input. You should identify whether it is string or not. So here you are giving 5 as the output. Now you should say it is number. Like that you need to identify. So if you see the problems here, very simple. So in the sample input, they are passing programming. What you should print? You should print output as programming command line argument. Only like that you need to print output. So here, if you see in eBox, command line argument should be passed here. Here you should pass. Here they are passing programming, and Girish is the array, string array, and they are taking 0th index. Means whatever you are passing the first value here, it should be programming. So if you copy this and paste it here, programming, and then if you run this program, save and run this program, then you will get programming command line. So here, if you pass some other value like Python, now it says Python command line argument. That's it. So I'll just save it and I'll print it. So you can see Python command line arguments. It's very simple, saying that whatever in the main method, right, we get as a string argument, or to the string array, whatever values we get, how to print them out is the logic that you need to see here. If you see the second one is also very simple. So they are passing input as command arguments, command space argument. So this is the first array value. This is the second array value. What you should print? You should print comments are, this is the first one, this is the second one. Total arguments are 2. That's it. So how will you print that? Very simple. I'll just show you. So here, I'll just remove all this. Okay. So here, arguments is something that just an input that you are taking, the system.out.ln. So this, you are supposed to read these 2 values. From where you should read? You should read from here. From here, you should pass this to this argument into this command line argument. In this command line argument, you are supposed to pass. And you should say this is the first argument, this is the second argument. Number of arguments is something 2 that you need to print. So what you can do, you can say here Anil is the array that I have taken. I will identify what is the length of Anil. Okay, length is equal to, you can do Anil dot length. Okay, Anil dot length. So what it will give? LENETH. Okay, Anil dot length. And you can print number of arguments is that length. You can easily print that. Okay, you can take that and print that. System dot out dot println you print double quote this value is, and here you print plus length. Length is the value. Okay, and semicolon should be closed. Now, if I am running this program with 2 arguments and the length should be 2, that is the expectation. So when I'm running it, okay, it says error. Okay, reached. Okay, there is some some semicolon missing. Okay, now you can see one flower braces is missing. So I can add one more flower brace and run it. Okay, so it says cannot find symbol Anil dot length. Okay, so this array dot length, to find out the length of the array, there is one specific method. Maybe I'm not using that right. Dot length. Yeah. So now see, number of arguments is 2. So this is printed. So this is printed. But how do you print these 2 arguments? Very simple. You know, for each loop, right? Just go and add for each loop. For what is the value that you get every time? You get a string value, right? String value. String. Say A colon. What is the array name? Anil is the array name. So I will take Anil and I will put it here. Anil. Okay. And here I am supposed to print that value, that is system.out.println. System.out.println A. That's it. So now it will print those arguments also, and it will print number of arguments length is this. So let me save it and run it. See, now I am able to get, okay, arguments are Okay. It's supposed to. Now we are seeing command and arguments. So it is matching this output. Command, arguments, and number of arguments is 2. So all these 5 problems you can solve it in 10 minutes. Okay, where does it throw IO exception? Can you tell me? Okay, in this command line arguments, is it? Yeah, so it might throw exception because see here you are having string values that you need to pass. Maybe you are passing some other format of values. Maybe you are not passing. IO exceptions are generally thrown. IO is like a checked exception. Okay, IO is a checked exception. If you have error or if you don't have error, this IO exceptions will be thrown because it is checking whether you are having that exception or not. Okay, if you don't want to handle it, you can go to this main method, and once you complete the main method, at the end you can have throws IO exception. So you can do like this, throws IO exception. So why IO exceptions is thrown is
You are muted.
Can't hear you.
hello, somebody has muted me. Sorry, when I was not audible. Okay,
When you
sorry.
were about to explain why it throws IO exceptions.
Okay, so why it throws IO exception? So IO exception is like a checked exception. Okay, say for example, you are going for an exam. It doesn't mean you will not be responsible. You will take everything and you will go to exam. But sometimes your mother will come and stand in front of you and ask, "Did you take eraser? Did you take pencil, pen? All that she will ask you. Correct? No? Why she is asking that? It doesn't mean that you are doing mistake. It means that you should not make any mistake at the exam time, right? So like that, here in your program there are some exception classes like IO exception. There are other exception classes also. Okay, number format exception, and there are exceptions like like you just Google and check out. Okay, there is something called as checked exceptions. That I will handle in exception handling. There are 14 classes of exceptions that you generally get. So these are few exceptions, IO exceptions, and like previously when I was explaining you, I had already used one more exception. I'll show you this number format exception, IO exceptions. These are all checked exceptions. What are checked exceptions? It's not like you are making a mistake. You might make a mistake. Okay, so it's your responsibility to handle it. Means see here you are reading integer. What is the proof that user will only enter integer? User will enter a string. You are asking him to enter a number here. You are parsing and all you are doing. But here user will go and enter 3, THREE 3. This will fail, right? This will fail. So this will create number format exception. So it's a checked exception. Okay, there may be possibility. If you want to handle it, you should write try, catch, and handle it. If you don't want to handle it, you can write like this. But this is a very bad practice. Just for your sake of understanding, I'm for sake of program, I'm writing this. But I will teach you in detail why this and how to handle this and all that. Okay, so your code will automatically tell you, hey boss, you are doing you are trusting the User will give right input, then you are doing parsing to integer and all, and you are keeping. But that stupid fellow can give any number, right? Anything here. He can give star 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 also. You don't know that, you should handle, no? So that if you're not handling, you are writing these things. So in your code, if you have not written like this, it will throw IO exception, it will throw number format exception. So it will give some exception, but you are not doing that mistake. But still, your compiler will warn you. It's a like checked exception. It will tell there is a possibility you will get this error. What you want to do? You want to escape, throw. You are just throwing this. I'm not handling it. You can do this, or another way is you can write a try block. You can write a try block, all the code in the try block, and write a catch block, and use exception E and close this. So this will be the solution. If you are if you don't want to write this line, right? Any program that you are writing in Java should be within try block, and catch block should be followed by that. So this is the standard practice that you should follow. In case you don't want to write try, catch and all, you can just throw number format exception. But this, got an idea? It's a checked exception. Call it as checked exception. Okay. So what you can do tomorrow, go back today and work on all these problems. Okay. So very simple problems, not so complicated. Command line arguments will not take half an hour. First finish this command line arguments, go to strings, go to recursion, go to methods, solve these problems. Okay. And identify, okay, in I design, second problem I was not able to solve. In recursion, third problem, I design, third problem I am not able to. So note it down. So when you come tomorrow, put that in the chat window. Put that in the chat window so that I can go and address them, or tell you the logic how to solve them. Or maybe if it is too difficult, I will only solve it for you. All that is possible. Okay. Okay. So that's all for
Okay, sir.
today. Yeah. We will meet tomorrow. Thank you.